Okay, so you're doing something really super common, and you're going to say, "Oh, why was I doing that?" The second you realize what you're doing. So you did the part. All right. So the problem here's the original question: the partial derivative with respect to x, and you did this correctly. You said, "Okay, I've got a product rule, or I've got an x here, so I'm going to take the derivative with respect to x. That leaves me a 7e to the y z. So that stayed right there, 7e to the y z. Then plus the next term. Now here you have a y, so you left that alone because it's multiplying e to the something, and it has a variable in it. So therefore our variable at e to the anything just stays. Now we have to do the chain rule. So the derivative of the stuff up on the inside, whoops, excuse me, my hand just touched the slider down here. The derivative of stuff on the inside, the derivative of xz just leaves you with a z. So there's your answer. And so there you go. So that's what you've got right there, and you did great. Now it looks like you did a little bit with the with multiplying by 0, whatnot. That's fine. Actually, I'm not quite sure why you did that. We'll take that back. It's not fine. Yeah, make sure you note x is your variable. When we're doing the partial derivative with respect to x is your variable. Z is a constant, y is a constant, so you treat them as if it was like the number 4. So if I gave you, and this is what I was going to say for the next part, if I gave you like an old school derivative, just 3x to the 7th, and I said take the derivative of that, you would say no problem. That's y prime equals 7 comes out to the front, making it 21x to the 6th, right? Why didn't you take the derivative with respect to 3 of the 3? Why didn't you do a whole product rule saying, okay, I'm going to do a product rule here. I'm going to take the derivative of 3, that's 0, then x to the 7th plus, now leave the 3 alone, then take the derivative with respect to x, bring the 7 out to the front, making it 21, x to the, right? You don't, because it's a constant. So I think that's probably what happened here, is you did the derivative of x, and then left the z alone, plus the derivative of left x, then the derivative of a constant, which is 0. That's fine, I guess, but it's a little overkill. All right, so, and that's what happened here. That's what's kind of, I think, driving you nuts with derivative with respect to y, because you're trying to deal with all these extra things. Y is my variable. So therefore, 7 constant, x is a constant, e to the whatever has a y in it. So therefore, it's just going to be the derivative of that would be 7x, derivative of e is e to the y z, times, now do the derivative of the exponent. What's the derivative of yz if y is my variable? Well, the y has a 1 on it, so the 1 would come out to the front, giving us 1 times y to the 0 z, which is the same thing as 1 times z, so that's just z. Okay, that's like the long way of doing it. Okay, so that's the derivative of this first term. This derivative of this first term. Because we're doing the derivative with respect to y, the constants are multiplying something that has our variable, so they hang out. Just like here. Back to the original old school, this is how I always try to relate it, back to the old school derivative. If I take the derivative, this 3 is multiplying something that has our variable. So it just hangs out. It's just going to stay there. So now I'm doing the derivative of, well, what's the derivative of x to the 7th? Again, the 7 comes out to the front, subtract 1 from the exponent, and that gives you, I just did it again with that slider. Sorry about that. Go away. Come on. There we go. So that's going to give us 3 times 7, which makes 21 x to the 6th. Okay? So these things are no different. All right, so again, we've only done the first part of the derivative here. So left these two constants alone. Derivative of e to the yz is e to the yz times the derivative of the chain rule part. So the derivative of yz is just z. So now we have to do the second term. Plus. Okay, now y is our variable. So, and then we have times e to the something. Now this e to the something, there's no y in it. So this is just a constant. So there's no work to be done. It's just the derivative of y is 1 times the constant it's multiplying. That was a z. There we go. So therefore, there's your answer. So I'm going to leave the third one for you to do. But that's the idea, is don't overthink. Just because they have e's doesn't mean you're taking a derivative of them. They only take a derivative of them if they have a variable in the exponent. Okay, so hopefully that helps. Let me know.